for me, bringing that doubt and vulnerability and fear to the page actually transformed my writing into just journals that nobody else needed to read but me, into a source of commonality that other people would come to and say, I feel that way too sometimes. I'm so glad you said it out loud.
And do you feel as if the writing has to answer the question, like, if you're writing for other parents with children with health issues, are you trying to convince them that it's not their fault? Or are you sharing your experience with the understanding that in itself is going to be helpful to them?
That's such a good question. I've once been told that good writing, like it, you tell them something and then you say something about what you told them. And you're doing two things at once. You're telling a story and then you're talking about the story you told. And so I do think that often my journals and my writing about my situation were very inward looking. But then when I would reflect, for instance, I had a miscarriage not too long after my middle daughter was born. And I remember asking some of those same questions. Was it my fault? And asking that out loud and writing it down. And miscarriage is a great example of something that happens to 1 in 4, 1 in 3 women, but we don't have a procedure for it. We don't have something that we do. There's not a set way to talk about it. And a lot of women haven't even announced that pregnancy, so they don't announce the miscarriage either. So I remember when I published that piece, I was both looking inward and wondering if anybody else had undergone that. And I was overwhelmed at the number of people who reached out and said, I thought I was the only one. I had never heard anyone say that before. Thank you so much. So finding that it turns out that our stories aren't as unique as we think, and that if you are silently suffering, chances are pretty good that there's thousands of other people silently suffering too, and that community fosters healing.